Focusing on heart health is more important than ever as heart disease remains the leading cause of death in the U.S. This is the scene of where the crash happened. These recommendations are broken down into 3 different categories: what to drink, what to limit, and what to avoid. To prioritize your well-being during the holidays. Now, it's easier said than done, right? The GOP luncheon is happening inside the steakhouse here while 300 people are across the street protesting. The cause of this crash is still under investigation. Breaking news coming out of Salt Lake County. Now, there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. And when you're out on the slopes, make sure you have the proper equipment. That means making sure your boots fit right, your skis are the right length, and don't forget your helmet. I mean, it's slowing down a little bit right now, if you can see here, but there's still a lot of people, having fun out on the slopes today. Find shoes with good support and traction, and alternate your shoes. Don't wear the same pair every single day. Making friends while shooting hoops. Be sure to roll down the windows and get rid of any distractions. It's just like watching a sports match. You got referees with flags, cheering crowd, a commentator, but the competitors are robots. If you are experiencing any symptoms, don't delay care. Jail setting is not necessarily conducive to treating mental health. 4 suspects are in custody. We'll continue to bring you the latest updates with this story. Test it out, maybe touch it. If it's too hot for your hand, it's definitely too hot for your kids. Some of the most commonly missed areas, the tips of the ears. So put sunscreen on the tips of the ears, also the back of the neck.
All right, talk to us about this. What is it?
Okay, so essentially it's a CT scan of your heart. You could always try the toilet paper roll test. If the toy can pass through the roll, then it's too small for a young child. This Coke here is 20 ounces. It has 57 milligrams of caffeine. So technically you could have quite a few of these, right, to get to that daily limit. We're helping raise money today for Primary Children's Hospital. When it comes to cardio, what is the current recommendation? Again, it's the Red Cross blood donor app. You can actually track your blood journey. You can find all of that on our website, KSLTV.com. Live in Salt Lake City, Emma Benson for KSL 5 News.
Hundreds of Utahns joined a growing nationwide effort to express their opinions with U.S. lawmakers. They gathered in Ogden as Utah Representative Blake Moore attended a luncheon this afternoon.
That's right. News specialist Emma Benson spoke to some of them about their concerns.
Yeah, the GOP luncheon is happening inside the steakhouse here while 300 people are across the street protesting, saying Utah leaders are not doing enough.
We are a community of peaceful protesters that want to fight for our rights.
With signs echoing statements like, quote, "Stop the billionaire takeover and do your job." Utahns urging Representative Blake Moore to do more.
Mr. Moore, I went to Ogden High. You went to Ogden High. This is not you.
This rally was part of the nationwide 50-51 movement, which stands for 50 protests, 50 states, 1 movement.
I don't feel like they're listening. I don't feel like they care, so that's why we're here.
Let's be single file.
Organizer Cameron, who did not want to use his last name, telling us Congressman Moore has ignored his constituents for too long.
His support of Doge and his position as a co-chair on the Doge caucus in the United States Congress is a betrayal of Ogden, and it is a betrayal of Utah, and it's a betrayal of the United States of America.
The Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, was created by President Donald Trump with Elon Musk as the appointed leader and has led to thousands of federal job cuts.
Many of us are shocked. Standard, everyday people are shocked. And the only way we're going to make a difference is if we just get heard.
Protesters also voiced concerns about Gaza, medical care, and the education system.
I don't know if my kids are going to have a solid school system to enter. There's other ways I would rather spend my Saturday, but with the state of the world, there's nowhere else that I would rather be than fighting here and showing my daughter that this is what democracy looks like.
And today's organizer tells us there will be another 50-51 protest at the Utah Capitol on Saturday, April 5th. In Ogden, Emma Benson, KSL 5 News.
What if I light my hair on fire with the torch? Or what if I fall into a manhole? Or what if my pants fall off because the suits were really big?
In 2002, my grandma, Kathleen Barnes Walker, ran the torch for the Salt Lake Olympics.
My children were all laughing at me, saying, "Mother, you have never run anything. What are you going to do?" It's like, I don't know. I think I'm going to need heavenly help.
My grandfather, Alan Barnes, had served on the Interfaith Council for the Salt Lake Olympics. He unexpectedly died a year before the opening ceremonies.
They sent me a letter. It said, you know, you have been invited to run the torch in honor of your husband. And I was just terrified.
So she started training.
I got on my treadmill with soup cans, and I would hold a soup can and I would run, and then I would change hands.
I mean, it is heavier than a soup can.
When the day finally came,
February 8th, 2002.
she arrived at her assigned stretch on Redwood Road.
And I was number 159. They dip the torch and light your torch. People were cheering and snapping pictures. You were just floating. It was one of those moments in time that you just wanted to freeze.
Adorned with Olympic pins.
I pinned on me a pin for every grandchild.
Oh, that's me right there.
Yeah, yeah.
All the cousins.
So that I could give them this pin and tell them it was on me when I ran the Olympic torch.
My family watched from the sidelines. Fortunately, there was no tripping, no hair on fire, and no pants falling down.
I was glad I had prepared.
She fondly recalls the feeling of togetherness, particularly during the opening ceremony, when a torn American flag recovered from the 9/11 wreckage was brought into the stadium.
People just went silent. It was a very patriotic moment. It was one of those unifying moments that we long for now in our country. And hopefully, if we get the Olympics again, it will bring some of that peace and that patriotism. And
at 85, she's hoping to still be around when the Olympics return to Salt Lake in 2034.
If they asked you to, would you run the torch again?
I would walk it. I basically walked it then because I didn't want it to end, you know.
Emma Benson, KSL 5 News.
For more than 45 years, the Intermountain Life Flight team has been performing daring rescues and transporting patients. These first responders are always on standby, uncertain of when their next call will come. Medical specialist Emma Benson got an unprecedented look at what their job entails.
Yeah, LifeFlight has transported more than 123,000 patients and flown more than 18 million miles. Now, there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. I got to spend the day with the LifeFlight crew in Utah County.
You can't let your guard down. You're waiting on that alarm to go off.
When that call comes in, these men and women have to be ready.
You just never know what's going to happen when you come on shift.
The LifeFlight team at Utah Valley Hospital starts their day with a thorough equipment check.
It's essentially a flying ICU, so everything happens in this small, contained space, and everything's got to be in a perfect order, ready to go.
And a morning briefing.
All right, guys, any equipment issues or concerns today? Weather looks great. Patchy smoke after 3 o'clock, and then sunny high of 86 degrees. Good to go? You're constantly learning something and staying on your A game.
We take this isolette, which pretty much is a NICU on wheels, try to take the same ICU care to the patient that they will receive when they get to the ICU.
These first responders are 5 of 300 LifeFlight caregivers at 9 bases in Utah, standing by to help in any kind of emergency.
We do hoist rescues back in the backcountry.
Four-wheeler accidents and UTV and horse accidents and hiking and falls, snowmobile crashes and sledding accidents. Our goal is to be wheels up in 5 minutes.
LifeFlight pilots are trained to fly in a variety of challenging conditions, like in bad weather and at night.
You're just trying to do everything as quickly as you can, but as safely as you can. So this is the Augusta 109.
I got to tag along for a test ride.
It's fast, nimble, and a very capable aircraft.
The team says they average 2 calls per 12-hour shift, never knowing what they'll encounter next.
We have great days and we have days that are kind of unimaginable.
So we spend a lot of time just talking about everything and debriefing flights. A lot of important conversations are had right here.
They're thrown into intense situations, helping others through their worst days.
That's what I love about this job, is that we get to show them how much we can care for them and make their life better in a really bad situation.
And they wouldn't trade it for the world.
You just get put in these crazy, unique environments to try and help somebody. And that's super rewarding.
They are heroes for sure. Well, another fun fact, Intermountain Life Flight is the only civilian air rescue service in the country that's licensed to perform hoist rescue operations. Pretty neat. Back to you.
Oh, Emma, thanks for that view. They are so dedicated. We appreciate that. Utah has one of the highest rates of mental illness in the nation, and access to care has been a consistent challenge. But now a state-of-the-art crisis receiving center, the largest in the state, is opening in South Salt Lake. Medical specialist Emma Benson gives us a preview of how this facility will serve our community.
When it comes to mental health crises, every second counts.
We would rather have more people come in than not enough people because they're waiting for it to get so bad that they can't avoid it.
Huntsman Mental Health Institute's new $60 million crisis care center will be open for adults 24/7 with a focus on de-escalation.
We really strive hard for an environment and for staff that create a warm, welcoming experience.
Director Kevin Curtis says every aspect of the 80,000 square foot building was intentional and well thought out, from the furniture to the art on the walls to the lights.
Standard lighting in the room is tuned to a frequency that's associated with de-escalation. So this is kind of a transition point from our kind of public space into our secure treatment space.
The facility includes private rooms for doctor evaluations.
We want people to feel a sense of hope.
And also group settings to help combat feelings of loneliness and isolation.
And you're engaged with other people, you're engaged in therapeutic activities.
The center provides what's known as 23-hour treatment for those in the 30-bed receiving center and short-term stabilization in a 24-bed unit, as well as law clinics, dental care, and resources for substance use disorders.
If the connections can happen here, that makes it much more likely that they are able to transition out of this successfully. Yeah, so we're walking over to the law enforcement entry.
Curtis says the proximity to the Salt Lake County Jail was not by accident.
A jail setting is not necessarily conducive to treating mental health.
We want our law enforcement officers to kind of have to pass us every day and make that thought of, is this really something that should go to the jail, or is this something that would be better served by a connection to treatment? This is one of our observation rooms here.
Providing patient autonomy.
Would it help calm you down if we changed the color?
And individualized treatment.
This is a really powerful tool.
Curtis says this walk-in facility will meet a significant need.
This is very well suited to providing better and more timely access to supports for people that are really struggling.
Emma Benson, KSL 5 News.